So new details coming in on what city might be next, actually, the next target for ICE and Border Patrol in the president's immigration crackdown. Sources now tell CNN that the Trump administration's top border official is expected in New Orleans early next month. Raids in North Carolina have been ongoing. More than 200 people have been arrested in Charlotte, North Carolina over the last 3 days. And it's not just Charlotte. Federal agents have also been seen in Wake and Durham counties. CNN's Diane Gallagher is in Charlotte tracking all of this for us. What is the latest that you're picking up, Diane?
You know, Kate, we're in East Charlotte where many immigrant-owned businesses and immigrants in the city tend to live. And if I am quiet for just a moment, you hear nothing. It is dead out here. The businesses are closed. There are not people walking on the streets. We didn't see kids waiting at the bus stop. And that's kind of how you can describe the city of Charlotte right now. We're on day 5 of this, quote, Operation Charlotte's Web from Customs and Border Protection. And you can see the chilling effect across the city. Citizens, undocumented people, who all say that they just feel uncomfortable right now being in their city. Now, you mentioned that the operation has sort of moved beyond Charlotte's city limits. We're talking about 2.5, 3 hours north there in Wake County and Cary and Durham and Raleigh, but also in the neighboring cities of Charlotte right now. The Huntersville mayor saying there's been activity in her city right now. We are looking at what the effect has been here. The school system saying that, again, on Monday, more than 30,000 students were absent. That is nearly triple the average number of kids. So they are...
Let me start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Mekach, Wadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops at Great Millstone for teaching me this truth. I'm your brother, Rabbi Knapp, coming out with a lesson, Lord's will, satisfying to the Lord's elect. If you don't know what's going on in Charlotte, it says over 200 plus arrests over 3 days, dozens of people arrested, had criminal records, 30,000 plus students absent from Charlotte. Imagine that, man. They're not even going to school because they think this damn devil's going to come take them and ship them to who knows where. Okay? And they're going to be going to other places too, and the same thing's going to happen. The whole Charlotte is like, it's like a dead man's land. Nobody's over there. You know? And who knows where they're at? They could be in the woods. They could be... Who knows, man? They probably just got the hell out of Charlotte. Told the kids, listen, pack all your shit. There's probably no one in their house. Leave everything behind. You know, let's get up. Let's go, man. Let's go. And, you know, it just makes me think, you know, of Jacob's trouble. You know, when that time comes, you might think, all right, this ain't happening to me. You know, this ain't happening nowhere close to me. You know, you think it won't happen for him to Jacob, on to Israel, because of the blessing. He understands that. He understands these scriptures that people mock at when we bring them out. Oh, you said that before. All y'all talk about is Esau, and you know, all y'all do is talk about doom and destruction and all of that. Well, you can't say you weren't warned. At least you know doom, destruction. You know who Esau is. The fact that it's like your tongue's falling upon yourself at this point because you were warned. So when you say that, you know, it's almost like you heard the word, and what are you doing with it? You just scoffing and scorning. So you're gonna be subject to these judgments that are coming on out here. 2nd Esdras chapter 6 verse 9, for Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So he understands who's coming up next. Okay, but the only ones that don't understand this is you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And just because he's doing it to the Northern Kingdom doesn't mean you're safe if you're from the Southern Kingdom. He's going to be coming against you too. So this ain't the time to be all proud and be thinking this ain't going to happen to you because he started with the Northern Kingdom. Okay, because this is called Jacob's trouble, okay, which is the whole nation of Israel. But this ain't a safe place. You know, you got people with masks, and you see the type of shit, you see what happened in Akron. I believe that was Akron, Ohio. The damn police officer shot some dude 15 times before he even figured out if he was the suspect he was looking for. These are the type of people that sign up for jobs like this. This dude right here, he probably got the highest rank in Call of Duty. Okay, he'll spawn kill you real quick in Call of Duty, and then they offered him $50,000 to sign up and dress up like his favorite character in Call of Duty. And he took the job. Okay, and he wants to get kills, man. He want to have the highest rank in the ICE agency if it's possible.
They're seeing this effect. DHS says so far they feel like they're having quite a fruitful operation here, talking about those more than 200 arrests. People in the community, though, say they are going to continue fighting back. At the Mecklenburg County Board of Commissioners last night, they passed a resolution saying they supported their immigrant neighbors here in the city of Charlotte, and people spoke out.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. That's what we be talking about. Grab this in the book of Jeremiah 50, Jeremiah 50 and verse 33. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel, which is the northern kingdom, which are you so-called Latinos and Native Americans, Salakia, and the children of Judah. The children of Judah will be considered the southern kingdom, which is talking about you Negroes, which are most importantly the Haitians, Jamaicans, and African Americans. Okay, it says we're oppressed together. Okay, so this is the land where we were oppressed together. When you have the understanding of our history, you would know that after Egypt, the last time we were oppressed together was in Egypt. Okay, and through the history of the Israelites, there was a separation with after King Solomon with Jeroboam and Rehoboam, and that split continued to split because the Assyrians took down the northern kingdom, and y'all went into Assyria. Then you came over here to America, but Judah, which is the southern kingdom, stayed in that land all the way up until 70 A.D., and we didn't get back into this land until 1619 during the transatlantic slave trade, and you got taken down under Christopher Columbus in 1492. So y'all went into slavery first, just like now with the ICE agents starting with y'all. But when all this started here in East Boston, by the way, all this ICE agent shit's now it's spread it to all these other places. But Tom Homan started over here in Massachusetts, and what did you see? You saw a Haitian dude in the back of a van. Okay, that's the southern kingdom, but it was mostly during that time the northern kingdom. But that's showing you Judah and Israel being oppressed together in the same land. Okay, and all that took them captives, held them fast. They refused to let them go. So they refused to let you go. Okay, they want to lock you up. You're still locked up. You're yet this day in your captivity, according to Baruch 3:8. But y'all think, I don't know what y'all think. If you ain't got this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, you're privy to believe in fairy tales. Who the hell knows what you think? But you in captivity, man. Okay, that's why you're running. Ultimately, you're going through the curses. Let's grab some of these precepts in Leviticus 26. For your curses, for penalties of disobedience, for not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, Leviticus 26, verse 14. But if ye will not hearken unto me and will not do all these commandments, which he gave to the nation of Israel, meaning when I say the nation of Israel, that's not just the northern kingdom. Okay, we're all Israelites. The reason why there's a separation is because there was a split after King Solomon. Okay, and if ye shall despise my statutes, or if your soul abhor my judgments, so that ye will not do all my commandments, but that ye break my covenant, I will also do this unto you. I will even appoint you over terror, consumption, in the burning og, that shall consume the eyes and cause sorrow of heart, and ye shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemy shall eat it. So you sow in seed, you're supposed to reap what you sow, but now you're reaping your labors are going to another nation because of your disobedience. Okay, and I will set my face against you, and ye shall be slain before your enemies, that they that hate you shall reign over you, and ye shall flee when none pursueth you. And that's you running, even though they are pursuing you now. But just the mere mention of ICE coming, you on the run. I've seen people walk down the highways. They're not even supposed to do that. Okay? You walking on the highways is making yourself a target. All right? But you don't know, so you rather take the chance and run, but there's nowhere to run, man. Ultimately, you have to repent. You have to come back to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, and he's the one that's going to defend you. He's the one that's going to protect you. All right? Then I grab this Baruch 3 and 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us. Okay, so if you have understanding, you know that the Lord is the one who scattered us over here. All right, according to Deuteronomy 28, verse 64. And we're not just here, we're all over the world. We're in every nation. For a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments. And who are you paying when it comes to taxes and things like that? You're paying Esau. Okay, he's the one that's in rulership. Job 9 and 24 says the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? If he's not ruling, who else is? Okay, according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our God. Okay, so we departed by not keeping the laws. Okay, by being disobedient. So now we're suffering these curses, not just in Leviticus 26. But let me grab this in Proverbs 28, verse 2. It says, Proverbs 28 and 1, the wicked flee when no man pursueth, but the righteous are bold as a lion. Okay, so if you know the Lord's dealing with you, you're going to be operating in a different way. You know, even if you have to go through, go into prison and things like that, you understand it's the Lord doing all these things. Okay, but you lack confidence, which is to have faith in the Lord. So you're just going to run. You're going to be trusting your own mind. You're going to be hasty, okay? What's that precept, as a matter of fact? Don't be hasty in the time of affliction. Something like that. Sirach 2 and 2. That sounds about right. Let's go there. Sirach 2 and 2. You're like a damn runaway slave running right now. And your kids are too. It says, I'll start at the top. Sirach 2 and 1, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Because when you get this truth, that's the Holy Spirit dealing with you. But then he said he's gonna baptize you with fire. So that's what you gotta be prepared for. That's what this is saying. Set thy heart aright, your heart, your mind, and constantly endure the afflictions that the Lord's going to put on you for having this truth. He had to go through everything, and he endured unto the end. And make not haste in time of trouble. See, right now, you're not enduring. You ain't got the wisdom, knowledge, and understand. So you making hasty moves, and ultimately those hasty moves is what's going to cause you to make the wrong move and get you hemmed up. You know. These moves that you're making, even though we all know when Jacob's trouble comes to pass, we're going to be like pilgrims in the earth, but you making haste, and it's not even Jacob's trouble fully. You know, you worried about the dollar, you worry about, doing this, that, and the third, when in all actuality, you should be praying more. You should be getting to know the Lord. Because we all going to be met with some type of temptation, some type of affliction. There's no escaping that. But the difference between those who believe and those who don't is that we're relying on the Lord. And no matter what he puts us through, we're going to bear it because we understand it's him that's doing all of these things. We're not going to be, the last thing we're going to do is trust this devil in helping us. Not only that, we hastening the day for the Lord to come back. Okay, and with that type of mindset, that comes with a different way of moving in this time. It says, cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Okay, so you want to be increased. You want to cleave unto the Heavenly Father through his son Yahweh Shai. But if you cleaving into Esau, okay, and his gods and these false idols, you ain't going to have any protection. All right? That's why it's important. That's why we're blowing the horn. Let me grab this in Psalms chapter 91, I believe. Psalms 91. In verse 1, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. So you dwelling in the secret place, which is this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. That's how you're in the secret place. No matter what's going on with you in your mind, you already know the prophecies. You know everything that's going on. So even if you could be literally in the midst of trouble, but yet you're firm in this truth and you believe and hope in Yahweh Shai to deliver you or whatever he's going to bring upon you, you're going to take it cheerfully because you understand that we've committed sin against the Lord. That's a strong type of mindset to have in these last days, because that's going to be your knowledge and your stability of the times, which is this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Because if you don't have that, you're prone to make the wrong decision if you're not standing on anything. Okay? And that's how the Lord is defending you, by giving you this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. If you don't have it, he's not defending you. I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in him will I trust. So you're going to trust in the Lord. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler. Okay, the fowler is Esau. Okay, which I believe a fowler is someone who lays traps for birds. Okay, a snare is a trap. And that's what he's doing. He's setting a snare for you. Okay, ultimately it's the Heavenly Father that's going to allow you to be delivered into his hand. So you don't want to put yourself you want to have yourself aligned with the Lord, and he's going to deliver you out of whatever it is that he's bringing upon you. And from the noisome pestilence, which is the thermonuclear missiles. Most importantly, you think ice is the worst thing that could happen to you right now, but it gets worse than that. Okay? This could be an act of mercy too, getting you up out of here, because this place is going to be destroyed. And I would say, I don't want to put a time limit on it, but there's going to be a time where you're going to wish you weren't here in America. You're going to wish you were somewhere probably somewhere else, man. Somewhere else. I don't know where, but all these things you see in the world is going to come here to Babylon, and you're going to wish you were somewhere else. Especially when a famine's going on. Especially everyone here got guns and they hate each other. Everyone got different political views. That's all going to come to a climax, and people are going to fight each other, man. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Okay, a shield and a buckler. A shield is a shield. Like you got a sword, you get a shield. A buckler is like a smaller shield. Okay, which is for more close combat. Shields are more for those long range arrows that are being shot at you. But through the spirit, there's truth. That's what it's a spiritual battle. Okay, if you're looking at it carnally, you got your shield and your buckler on the ground. Okay, if you ain't got the truth, you ain't got your armor on. You're out here, we're telling you, get you prepared for the battle, put your armor on. Your armor's not on. You think, you're supposed to be fooling around in this time or whatever. Hey, let the people fool around who's meant for them to fool around. Let the people take this truth who don't take it serious. Let them do what they do. Okay, but that's like having your shoes unshod. That's like having your belt untied. That's like having your helmet on top of your head, tipped to the side or something, man. Some people are like that through the spirit. You got to see it. But if you see someone tight with his shoes on tight, he got his belt on tight, he got his shield, he got his buckler, he got a sword, he got his helmet on, he got it down, he ready to battle. That's what we're trying to get you prepared to do. But not everyone's going to be like that. Some people think this word is a joke. Thou shalt not be afraid of the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day. And spiritually, the different afflictions that the Lord is bringing upon you, but it's also those thermonuclear missiles. Okay? That's the ultimate judgment, but there's more things that are going to be coming and that we need to be prepared for. 1,000 shall fall at thy side and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Okay, so if you're dwelling in the secret place, you got this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. When people are getting put to death left on your left and your right, you're going to be all right. All right? Leviticus 26 and 18. If ye will not yet for all this hearken unto me, then I will punish you 7 times more for your sins. So you don't want to listen. He'll punish you 7 times more. 7 goes into completion. Okay. And this is why being disobedient, this is why we try to provoke those to be obedient to the law, to the laws. Ultimately to Yahweh Shai, to have faith, because the laws are not going to save you. But having faith in Yahweh Shai, like it says in James chapter 2, you're going to be showing your works by your faith, and keeping the law, statutes, and commandments is a way of showing your faith by your works. Okay, so it's not, I could see somebody telling you, to believe in Yahweh Shai and all of that, and then he don't even keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Okay, then he's going to provoke you to do the same thing as him. Leviticus 26 verse 19, and I will break the pride of your power, and I'll make your heaven as iron and your earth as brass. Okay, so that be twofold, that goes into, your prosperity of your land, your people, that's been taken away. You need the rain, you need water, okay, in order to produce a crop. And, and it's also going into you not, going into slave ships, having those yokes of iron upon your head, and the shackles on your feet and all of that. That broke your pride, man. Your pride is ultimately your lies you believed in. You thought you were more powerful than the Lord. You thought you could make it your own way. The Lord snapped that. He humbled you down and realized, there's a power that's involved in all of this, man. And he's the one who's bringing forth the consequences for your actions. Okay, that's why your pride was broken down to the point where you running and you don't know what's going on. You running from your enemy like you ain't got the power, man. You got the power with the Lord. There's no other way but you got to come back to the Lord, man. You got to build your relationship with the Lord. A lot of things be going on, man. I don't even sweat it anymore, man. It's kind of scary. It's to the point where, I really don't know what would stop me from serving the Lord. And I just hope and pray that, the Lord keeps me in that spirit. But a lot of y'all ain't in that spirit. And that's a scary thing, man. Leviticus 26 and 20, and your strength shall be spent in vain, for your land shall not yield or increase, neither shall the trees of the land yield their fruits. And if ye walk contrary unto me, and will not hearken unto me, I'll bring 7 times more plagues upon you, according to your sins. So there it is. And these plagues are these judgments that are coming to pass, man. There's plenty more. Leviticus 26 and 33, I'm going to jump down. And I will scatter you among the heathen, which is part of one of the curses of being disobedient, and will draw out a sword after you, and that's Esau, the different nations, your enemies, and your land shall be desolate and your cities waste. And that's what he did, man. 70 AD, man, he took down Jerusalem. The Assyrians took down the northern kingdom. Babylon took down the southern kingdom, but then we went back. But Esau ultimately, he's fulfilling Leviticus, Luke 21, and I think 19 or whatever. Let me grab that real quick. Luke 21. The time of the Gentiles. That's what's going on right now. Your land is being occupied by a heathen nation, and they claiming to be, it's really the northern kingdom. They claiming to be the southern kingdom. They claiming to be Judah, more so than y'all, because Judah's the head tribe. They won't be the head, because the Lord came out of Judah. Luke 21 and 20, and when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. And this is what reminds me of the times that we're in right now. These ICE agents are like, not really, but they're compassed about Jerusalem, which is the people before it's a place. They're coming after y'all. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter therein too. And that's what we're seeing in Charlotte. It's almost like they know ICE was there, so they dipped. Now it seems like nobody's over there. It's like, it's a sign, it's a token that we're getting closer to that time. And these little previews of what Esau is doing in the world, we got to pay attention to these things. It might seem small, but it's not. I don't know. It's not small when you see 30,000 students not going to school because they're afraid of this damn devil. And most of these ICE agents ain't even Edomites. You know, they're Jakes, they're other Israelites, but they got the mindset of an Edomite. Okay, because they've been here so long that they're gonna treat you worse than the so-called white men would ever treat you. Because they've been here so long, they think they're better than you. They think they feel like they're not you. They look at you like you're an alien. You know, it's funny, but it's not, because Esau is the real alien. He's the one who invaded your land. He's the one who run around. He's the murderer. He's the killer. He's the thief. He's the one that's occupying your country, man. He's the alien. He's the immigrant. Okay. He's the one that needs to be arrested. But he got the mindset. That's the spirit that Jake is in. So he'll and that's the curses. That's the curses when you're going to Deuteronomy 28. A little bit of Leviticus 26, but your eyes shall be evil towards your brother. So that's a little bit of the curses playing out. And let me grab Deuteronomy 28. 50 something, I think. Deuteronomy 28, 50. 54. Deuteronomy 28, verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother. Okay, that's the point. And that's your eye being evil towards your brother when you look at him like, yeah, you might claim to be Mexican. I claim to be American Mexican, but I'm nothing like you. Here it is. If you learn the history of Mexico, the Spanish went over there and killed y'all, man. Took your land. Now he's looking at you like a Spaniard now, because he probably is a Spaniard too, because Esau loves these type of jobs. So I wouldn't be surprised with most of these dudes, even though they're Mexican or whatever nation they claim to be from, that they're actually Edomites. Even some of these black Jakes on that side, they're probably Edomites too. But we don't know. Through the spirit, some of them are Jake too, But I'm saying, like, the majority, like Jake's spirit isn't really with two manner of people. And Esau loves those type of jobs. That's why I'm saying that. Luke 21 and verse 22. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, for there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people. And we're starting to see great distress, great wrath upon this people. There's some parallels between 70 AD and now, how the people are just in distress, and the wrath is upon Israelites, even though it's at a way smaller, lower level than what's going to come in the future. Jacob's trouble is going to be worse than any time that has ever been in the world, like it tells you in Daniel, the 12th chapter. But we got to get prepared for those days. Some of y'all are going to faint in this time, and it's going to get much worse. Daniel 12:1, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, going back into the Jacob's trouble. Okay, there shall be a time of trouble. So Daniel's prophesying about this, such as never was since there was a nation. Okay, and since we were a nation, we went through a lot of things. You read the book of Judges. We were underneath the heathen. We cried out to the Lord to come save us out from these heathens. He saved us, and he's done it multiple times. Okay, but it's never, this time that of Jacob's trouble is going to be worse than any other time since there was a nation. Okay, since we, you read about the nation of Israel, you got 70 AD, you got Babylon, you got the Assyrians, going all the way back. And then you got 1492 with Christopher Columbus. That was a horrible time. He was burning y'all, you Latinos and Native Americans at the stake, chopping you to pieces, in order for you to worship the God that you worship today. Caesar Borgia, which is Esau. Okay. Your ancestors weren't as weak as y'all are today. But now, through his educational system or whatever, a lot of y'all think you're Edomites, number one. Number two, you worship a false god. Okay, and it's going to manifest itself when you believe that it's okay to trust this devil, and he's showing you shouldn't. He's using this immigrant situation as like it's like a lie, so he just blame shit on you for his mismanagement of how to run his country. Okay, so he can the jobs, it's their fault, Oh, you're gonna have a healthcare premium because there's too many immigrants. They're overworking the system. We got to get rid of them, and then everything will be back to normal. And a lot of Edomites, they fall on that. They think that's the case. That wasn't the case a couple of years ago. Now it's a huge problem. Okay, so he gonna be blaming, and that's what the scriptures tell you. The scriptures tell you that he's like that. Let me finish this. Such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered. Excuse me. Everyone that shall be found written in the book. So there's an elect. They're written in the book of life. They're going to be delivered. And those of you who are not, well, you're going to be destroyed. All right. Luke 21. I forgot the other precept I was going to get, but Luke 21 and 24, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led away captive into all nations. Going back to Deuteronomy 28, verse 64, and Leviticus 26, verse 33. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, which are these heathen nations that are over there. He even got some Hamites over there, some Cushites. They're claiming to be different tribes of Israel, but yet they don't follow the law, statutes, and commandments. They're not prophesying. They're not feeding the sheep. You don't look at an Ethiopian and think, oh, surely this is the children of God, an Israelite indeed. No, you don't look at them like that. They're the same people that worship the so-called white man. All of them. Even in Nigeria, this Nicki Minaj is coming out, all these Nigerians. Well, they stopped praying to the so-called white man. And they're actually begging and hoping that Esau will come over there and help them out. Just like Mexico. Mexico's saying the same thing. Oh, can America come in here and help us? The dude said America or Russia or anybody, any Edomite come over here. And then they take you down, you fool, and you asking them for help? You're an idiot. Okay? You don't understand. It's because you have a lack of knowledge, man. So you asking for your own destruction until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. So it's the time of the Gentiles being fulfilled. I was looking for a precept. I can't think of it. Let me finish this article. Actually, you know what? Hold on. I forgot.
Violence for political purposes is terrorism. What is happening in the streets of Mecklenburg County is not public safety, it's not security, it's meant to instill fear.
Hey, man, that's beautiful you said that. Okay, what's that? Wisdom of Solomon, 17, verse number 12. For fear is nothing else but a betraying of the succors which reason offereth. Let's look into this precept. What's Psalm 17 and 12? Meaning, you know what? Let's go into, let me put this into the chat GPT, see what it says. Meaning, come on. Psalm 17. What's going on here, man? Okay, here it comes. Yeah, this is just a little slow, I guess. It says, for fear makes you forget the help that reason and faith gives. The verse teaches that fear is irrational. When fear takes over, it betrays or abandons the support that sound judgment gives a person. So in order to have sound judgment, you got to know the laws, man. You got to know the law, statutes, commandments, the prophecies, everything the Lord said, pretty much all the precepts. You got to know them. In other words, fear makes you forget what is actually true. That's why you want that wisdom and knowledge being the stability of the time, Isaiah 33 and 6. Fear causes you to ignore wisdom, logic, and faith. So that's why Ecclesiasticus 2 and 2. I forgot the precept. Let me grab it again. Where it says, set thy heart aright and constantly endure and make not haste in time of trouble. So you're not operating in wisdom, so you're prone to make a mistake. Fear blinds you so that you cannot think straight, and we need to be thinking straight. We got the path, we got the precepts, we have the understanding. We got to seek the old paths, like it tells you in Isaiah 30. Isaiah 30, let me grab it in verse 20. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers, and thine ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, this is the way, walk ye in it, when ye turn to the right hand and when ye turn to the left. So you want to make sure you're walking in that path, man. This fits the whole chapter. God brought a terror upon the Egyptians during the plague of darkness, and they became irrational from fear. And we don't want to be like that, like the Egyptians, man. That's why you want to follow the heat. Succors, which reason offereth, the help reason normally gives your mind. Reason casually calms you, keeps you stable, keeps you from panicking, offers solutions, gives you understanding. But fear betrays that, and that's what Esau wants to do. He wants to give you fear, and that's why I'm glad he even used that word. Okay, because we need this wisdom. Okay. This is the most important. This is the principal thing, according to Proverbs 4 and 7. When the righteous fled from his brother's wrath, which is Israel, Jacob, she guided him in right paths. So wisdom is the she in this verse. She showed him the kingdom of God and gave him knowledge of holy things, made him rich in his travails, and multiplied the fruit of his labor. So we need that wisdom to guide us. Okay. That's why it's important that, we get it while we still can, while we have the liberty to get it. When fear dominates, you imagine dangers that aren't real, okay? Even though we know the dangers are real, but in your mind can play tricks on you. You might forget what the Lord told you to do. You might forget to endure. You might, your faith could be, because we hope that the wisdom and knowledge meets us in every thought, so we don't fall in that time. Your mind becomes confused, and that's what he's pushing out, ultimately confusion, and that's what Babylon means. Okay, he wants to say you can go to school, because he can get you anywhere, Esau sees you, man. You people got cell phones. If he really wanted you, he got all that information. But what he wants to do, he wants to create that fear. He wants to create an environment of fear so you can make the wrong decision. And ultimately, it's for the elect. 2/3 of y'all going to get caught up in all this mess. Some of y'all are immigrants and y'all out there protesting, so you're way off. You're protesting, you're making yourself a target, when all you needed to do was relax and know that the Lord is in control of all these things. You fall into panic and superstition. Let's look at this word, superstition. A superstition is a belief or practice that is not based on reason or scientific evidence, often involving faith in magic, luck, or supernatural forces, and that's those idols that you believe in. These beliefs typically link specific actions, objects, or events to good or bad fortune, such as avoiding the number 13 or wearing a lucky charm. Many superstitions, like believing a black cat crossing your path brings you bad luck, are a mix of fear of the unknown and cultural tradition. So you don't want to, scriptures call them Jewish fables. Okay. You want to be relying on the truth, standing on Yahweh Shai. Titus 1 verse 14, not giving heed to Jewish fables and commandments of men that turn from the truth. And that's that betraying of you, of your truth and your wisdom and your knowledge. You lose clear judgment, because so you're going to not be stable in that time. This is exactly what happened to the Egyptians during the plague of darkness. They were terrified by their own imagination, and that's what your sins and wickedness would do to you. Corrupt your mind. Okay, this verse describes how God punished the Egyptians. They were surrounded by darkness. Their own imaginations terrified them. Their fear overcame their ability to reason. Their hearts became unstable. And we need to be stable in these last days. According to Isaiah 33:6. I didn't want to make this too long, but the Spirit's kind of just jumping on me. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. So you got to see the value in this work, man. If you don't, then you're going to get caught up in this mess.
CNN sources have indicated that Gregory Bovino and at least 250 officers will head to New Orleans that first week of December. But the governor of North Carolina says he's not exactly sure when the operation here in Charlotte will end. Josh Stein says that though he has come...
This dude looked like a transformer. I don't know. That's just my opinion, man. This dude, he looked like a transformer.
Contacted the White House. No one has responded to his reach outs, that he has not been in contact with CBP about the operation and has no idea when they will actually leave the Queen City.
But so they're going to be going to different towns, so you're going to be hearing more about this. But I got a couple other things. Let me see what this Daffy Duck is talking about here. He's saying in this video, he's saying Elon Musk, AI will lead to work being optional and money irrelevant. Listen to this, man.
If you say, like, in the long term, where will things end up? Long term, I don't know what long term is. Maybe it's 10, 20 years, something like that. For me, that's long term. My prediction is that work will be optional. Optional. So
We'll take that.
yeah, I mean, it'll be like playing sports or a video game or something like that. If you want to work, in the same way, like you can go to the store and just buy some vegetables, or you can grow vegetables in your backyard. It's much harder to grow vegetables in your backyard, but some people still do it because they like growing vegetables. That will be what work is like, optional. It's kind of interesting, and my guess is, if you go out long enough, assuming there's a continued improvement in AI and robotics, which seems likely, the money will stop being relevant at some point in the future. Currency becomes irrelevant. But AI and humanoid robots will actually eliminate poverty. And Tesla won't be the only one that makes them. I think Tesla will pioneer this, but there will be many other companies that make humanoid robots. But there is only basically one way to make everyone wealthy, and that is AI and robotics.
Imagine being...
You can almost guarantee he ain't talking about you so-called Negroes, Latinos, or Native Americans. He ain't going to be going to work. Work going to be optional for him, and money's going to be irrelevant to him. Because you're going to be the new AI robot when he puts that MOTB in your right hand or your forehead. Let me grab this in the book of Revelation 13. So these devils got a different type of plan for you, man. You think you're going to prosper in this land. You out of your damn mind. Revelation 13, verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. So those humanoid robots he's talking about y'all. You think he gonna put it in there so you can eat? No, he gonna control you. You get this devil access to your forehead, your pineal gland, you're through. You give him access to your right hand, you're done. And that no man might buy or sell, making money being irrelevant, save he that had the mark. You being a damn humanoid robot, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom, let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 603, which is 666. So that's going to be in the barcode or the universal product code. Okay, if you know about the charagma and the Karax. Let's see what the duck is talking about.
The White House dialing back President Trump's own words today. The president calling several Democrats in Congress, most of them veterans, traitors in a post, and then in another post saying this is punishable by death after they put out a video telling service members they can refuse, quote, illegal orders. The White House was asked, in this environment, what is the president suggesting? Here's Rachel Scott.
Tonight, President Trump criticized by members of both parties after calling 6 Democratic members of Congress, quote, traitors, and accusing them of seditious behavior punishable by death.
Hey, you gotta clap it up for Duck, man. Clap it up for Duck, man, because he about to bring forth all these prophecies. Lord's will, he's that man that can do it. Okay? But no matter if he's not the man or if it's another nasty-ass Edomite, and it is what it is. It needs to be done, man. So the MOTB, we want these things to happen because Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So him fulfilling prophecy works in your benefit. So when you have that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, you should be rejoicing in this time when he's saying things like that. Some people, they hear this and they're like all distraught. You know, oh, I need to go out and protest. They probably making signs right now. No Kings protest tomorrow on Thanksgiving Day. You know, because they lack understanding. Okay, but this is all the will of the Lord, man. And if the Lord wants this to happen, then I'm all for it.
Representative.
It came in response to video released by the lawmakers, all of whom served in the military or in U.S. intelligence.
I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
In the video, the lawmakers reminding members of the military they should not obey illegal orders.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law or our Constitution.
The lawmakers did not specify which orders they were talking about, but the president enraged, posting a flurry of messages on social media saying they should be arrested and put on trial. Their words cannot be allowed to stand, adding, an example must be set. The president then writing, seditious behavior punishable by death. And he
Hey, this is that cruel king, man. You never heard nobody talk like that, man. You never heard nobody talk like that, man. This is a crazy time. No one ever talked about that. Punishing another fellow politician to death? What? Insane. Isaiah chapter 19. Verse 4, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts. So this is that cruel king that's ruling over the Egyptians, which are you Americans, man. He about to show you. He about to show you he the cruel king, man. He's willing to do it. If that's punishable by death, what do you think he gonna do with y'all, man? 2nd Esdras chapter 15. In verse 14, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So there's going to be a time of civil unrest, civil war, okay, Republican, Democrats, and those who trust. And, you know, these, even your military is divided. You got politicians, Democratic elected officials telling the military that you can refuse orders that are illegal from the duck. That's insane, man. And he's saying that's punishable by death. He's calling it sedition. And this is what we're starting to see, sedition among men. Let's look at this word sedition. Sedition is language or conduct intended to incite rebellion against a government. So that's what the Democrats is pretty much doing. They're inciting rebellion against a government, often involving speech or actions that promote discontent or contempt toward the established authority. And duck is the established authority. While definitions vary, seditious actions can include inciting public disorder, subverting the Constitution, or urging others to commit crimes against the government or delay the execution of its laws. So whatever the king says, man, there's power. Okay? And if they don't want to listen to that, as a matter of fact, let me grab that in Ecclesiastes 8. And 1, who is as the wise man, and who knoweth the interpretation of a thing? A man's wisdom maketh his face to shine, and the boldness of his face shall be changed. I counsel thee to keep the king's commandment, that in regard of the oath of God. Yeah, so you got to keep the king's commandment in regard of the oath of God. You understand that the Lord is the one who sets up these men. So even according to the Bible, the Lord requires you to listen to your king. Okay? He set him up, man. You read Romans the 13th chapter, but Esau, he's the wicked. You know, he's always going to go against what the Lord told him to do. Be not hasty to go out of his sight. Stand not in an evil thing, for he doeth whatsoever he pleaseth him. So if he doeth whatsoever he pleaseth him, and he's asking for you to get put to death, then that tells you what you need to know. Ecclesiastes 8:4, where the word of a king is, there is power, and who may say unto him, what doest thou? So that's what they're trying to say. What are you doing? You telling them to do this, that goes against this, that, and the third. You got all these protests, no kings this, no kings that. They just put a prime minister, they just, in Bangladesh, they putting the prime minister to death because she pretty much destroyed some protesters out there. Okay, so don't think that these rulers aren't looking at that as an option. Like, okay, this might be, you know, if I do it like that, then this could happen over here too. These are good case examples or case studies that they can learn from, you know. And I'm sure that Esau had a hand in all of that shit, because he's trying to perfect his path, man. He got to make sure, if I do this, scriptures talk about him doing a diligent search. So if I do this and do that, what's going to be the outcome of this, that, and the third? He has plenty of examples throughout all the world, and we can pay attention to these things. But a lot of y'all ain't looking into, y'all don't even look at public news or local news. You don't even care, but never mind international, you know. But you should be paying attention to these things, because Esau's paying attention to these things, because he's probably orchestrating it in those areas so he can bring forth these prophecies in the last days. Ecclesiastes 8:5, whoso keepeth the king's commandment shall feel no evil thing, and a wise man's heart discerneth both time and judgment. So you got to know the time that we living in. You got to discern the times, and the times are getting closer to prophecy. 2nd Esdras, the 15th chapter, they're literally using terms that are written in the Bible. Sedition. Okay, it tells you in the book of Mark, chapter 3, verse 23, that he called them unto him and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but have an end. And that's the end. This is closer and closer to Esau's end. 2nd Esdras 6 and 9. Okay, and this is what we're starting to see is the cracks. Okay, between the iron and the miry clay going. That's with the rest of the Edomites in Europe too. Okay, but more so here in Babylon, we're seeing that how this could play out and turn into Mark 3 and 23. Okay, Ecclesiastes 8:6, because to every purpose there is time and judgment, therefore the misery of man is great upon him, for he knoweth not that which shall be, or for who can tell him what it shall be? There is no man that have power over the spirit to retain the spirit, neither have he power in the day of death, and there is no discharge in that war, neither shall wickedness deliver those that are given to it. That's right. So wickedness is not going to deliver you, okay, that are given to it. Okay, this is why we want to repent. All right. A little bit more, but that's pretty much it. I want to get into it because the point was pretty much, I counsel thee to keep the king's commandment, and that's not what they're doing. Okay.
Reposted a message from another account that said, hang them. George Washington would. Democrats accusing the president of inciting violence.
This puts all of our lives in jeopardy, right? What are we all doing right now? Democrats in the Congress are on the phone with their chiefs of staff, beefing up our security for this weekend and next week, because the president has a lot of unhinged supporters out there.
Republicans clearly uncomfortable.
The words that the president chose are not the ones that I would use, okay? Obviously, I don't think that this is these are crimes punishable by death or any of that, okay?
Republican Senator Rand Paul was blunt.
That kind of rhetoric isn't good. It stirs up people among us who may not be stable, who may think, well, traitors, what do we do with traitors? It's a death penalty. Maybe I'll just take matters into my own hands, which is not something we should be encouraging.
At the White House press secretary...
They shall not regard their kings or their princes, going into 2nd Esdras, the 15th chapter. Okay, your kings and your princes now are your politicians, your governors, your mayors that are saying these things. Okay, and both parties got their extreme right and extreme left. Okay, and those times are coming, man.
Caroline Leavitt was asked to explain.
Just to be clear, does the president want to execute members of Congress?
No. Let's be clear about what the president is responding to.
Leavitt saying the 6 Democrats are the ones inciting violence.
They are literally saying to 1.3 million active duty service members not to defy the chain of command.
I spoke with Congressman Jason Crow, a former Army Ranger.
It sounds like confusion, okay? You got your authority telling you what to do, and you got your mayors and your governors telling you the opposite, okay? That's confusion. Okay, you want to work especially in a position like being in the military where you need clear orders and how to execute things, and these rulers are not doing that. Okay, so a lot of people they're not gonna regard their kings or their princes, and that's gonna cause a lot of internal strifes.
Who was in that video.
What would your message to the president be?
I don't do fear and intimidation well, and I'm not going to stop.
In that video, Democrats cited what they called threats to the Constitution, insisting that the Trump administration is pitting our military against American citizens, but they didn't.
So now they're saying that what he's doing is threats to the Constitution. So, that's two different political views. Some people who are fully supporters on the right hand, which is the Republican Party, they're thinking he's doing everything right. And on the left-hand side, it's saying, you breaking the Constitution, that doesn't match up with, whatever. So that's going to come to a climax, man. That's eventually ultimately, it's the Lord's will that's going to prevail. Not this side or that side. I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow, but it is going to happen.
Not provide any specific examples, but they did not provide any specific examples. Congressman Crow telling me they felt the need to start a conversation after the president made what he called disturbing statements. David.
Rachel Scott live up on the Hill tonight. Rachel.
All right. Let me see, is that it? 2nd Esdras 15 and 16, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So them not regarding their kings and their princes is going to lead to them making decisions on their own, which they're programmed to do what the Lord wants them to do, which is to fulfill prophecy. But I'm going to end it on this, Isaiah 19, in verse 2. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, which are you Americans against each other, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And I'm ending here. Lord's will, this was edifying. Shalom.